Hey everyone, it's Misty with My Paper Cuts, and I'm coming on today with a Saturday morning makes video. This is the hashtag started by Jill Norwood. I have shared her channel down below. She is Greenwood Girl Cards also on Instagram, and she started this hashtag for everybody to share what they're working on and be able to find one another on all forms of social media. You don't have to post paper crafting, you can post any form of art, and you don't always have to post on Saturday morning. You can post whenever you have the time. There is no pressure in this collaboration, which is why it is one of my favorites. So for today's card, I'm actually sharing a Halloween card. I recently got this stamp from the Woodware craft collection. This is called the Professor Gnome. And you can see him there. The stamp's not on here right now because it is still in my stamping platform, so I can restamp. I did some grungy cards today, and I've also colored him, or I'm in the process of coloring him in Copics for a more bright whimsical card. But this is a really cute stamp set. So I'm gonna go ahead and share the card. So the Hocus Pocus sentiment is from the stamp set. I have watercolored the professor using my Inktense pencils. He has a little glossy accents on the bubbles on his beakers here, as well as his glasses. So what I really wanted to share for this card was the background. I was very inspired watching Tim Holtz in all of his recent videos. He's always so inspiring, and I decided to do a grungy background. The professor is on foam and he is grounded, which I will share all of that in just a moment. The inside, I also did some stamping, and I did another one of the flasks there. And I just hand drew some bubbles to give that a little more interest, and that still has glossy accents on the bubbles. And Have a Blast This Halloween is also from the same stamp set. So what I wanted to do was, I have made several cards. I have the rest of my elements sitting here in one of those scrapbook.com trays. And I just really wanted to share all of these wonderful backgrounds. I had so much fun. So the backgrounds are made on watercolor paper, just Canson XL. And I stamped my background pattern here. I stamped it first with this stamp from Indigo Blue. This is called Calculus, and it's one of my favorite for nerdy cards. But I did stamp that in clear on the watercolor paper so that I could get an emboss resist. And then I used some different splatter stamps, mostly this one from Tim Holtz. This one here, because it has so many different versions. It has, like, you could just use different parts and pieces of this stamp. And I stamped that with the embossing glaze in Twisted Citron. And I did that before I did any of the sprays or inking so I could preserve that color. As you know, embossing glaze is transparent when you use it, so I want to make sure that I had that bright color, and so I knew I needed to do it before I did my inking. So both of these were stamped in order to do a resist. And then I just used a mix of, I have Lindy's Flat Fabio spray. This is from the Grease collection. I don't know if they still sell it, but this one's called Sandra D Sepia. I also used a little bit of the Lost Shadow in both regular and oxide, because I wanted kind of that chalky look that you get with the oxides. And I used the oxide spray in Ground Espresso. And then I did use two of the mica stains. I used Specimen, which I think is probably my new favorite, or at least my favorite from the new colors. This one looks brown, but when the light catches it, you catch that green sparkle. So I sprayed this one, but then, as he says, I pulled out the schnozzle on Burning Ember, and I did splatters, so that I could get a little touch of that orangey red without going overboard. I just wanted a little more color in the background. And I also have some stamps that I did in the background. These are just a mix and match of different Tim Holtz stamps. I do have like the coffee stain from this same collection, but then I have like the Specimen stamp, and these are all just a mix and match from his different collections. And then on the bottom, I used this set from Simon Says Stamp that has, I like this because they have like perspective backgrounds. So you have like a cobblestone. This always reminds me of like just a tile floor, but I thought of a laboratory when I did this. Then you have the dark, you could do like a wood, and then you have wider panels. But I like how it has the perspective, so it makes it easy to ground your characters and elements. And after I stamped that, I did a little inking, and then I splattered it with the same colors just to tie it in with the background. I just picture this professor in a very messy lab, which is why I also did his lab coat in kind of a grungy color instead of white. So I just wanted, before I finished assembling these cards, I wanted to show you guys all the different backgrounds, because every one of them is just slightly different. I got so messy and I had so much fun making these. I was actually kind of bummed. I even told P that I was a little stressed out because I didn't want to cover up these yummy backgrounds, and the professor is quite big. These are standard A2 cards here. So this one has a lot of specimen on it, so hopefully you can catch all that mica. But that was my intention with this card, and I can always make more backgrounds, so I got over it real quick. So again, here's the card. That Hocus Pocus is layered on a little bit of, I had some scraps of green pearl paper just to make it stand out from the background a little bit. But hopefully you enjoyed my share, and I'm going to go finish assembling these cards. All right, you guys have a wonderful day. I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.